Hello and thank you for watching. This is Blue Streak TF here with Transformers Age of the Primes Alpha Trion. And here we have Alpha Trion in his spaceship mode. But first, we're going to take a quick look at his packaging. So, right up front here, we can see that we have an image of Alpha Trion here, which looks marginally based off of that one episode of G1. I think it's Forever is a Long Time Coming, where they show a younger Alpha Trion. Either that or it was War Dawn, one of the two. But I think that's really cool. Anyway, so we got, Covenant of Primus, his quill there, his spaceship mode, Transformers, Age of the Primes, 13 Alpha Trion. I do really quite like these packaging. These are just cool. Top of his name again. This side you have the Prime Mural Part 1 with Prima, Vector Prime, and Alpha Trion. It says up here till all R1. This side you have Alpha Trion again. This stuff that I'm not gonna read because that's too small in different languages and stuff. On this side you have your product shots, so you know what you're buying in case you don't know already. And that is pretty much it for the packaging on this guy. So yeah, taking a look at Alpha Trion here. And I have the first thing I have to say about this is just wow. This is really good. I really like all the paints on here. Very nice silver paint going on there, some lighter blues, sort of metallic-y blue, metallic-y purple, pinkish sort of color, that red there for a cockpit. He does, you can see his head, but it's an alien spaceship, it's not supposed to be an Earth vehicle, okay? It's okay that there's a head there. But yeah, just really, really nice painting on this guy all over. It is very well done. Unfortunately, my copy does have some QC issues, so there's some splotched right there, some right there. I feel like there's another place. I'll probably see it later, but yeah, not super great on the quality control, but that doesn't stop me from having fun with this guy. This is a cool figure. You can pop up his canopy here. Not really sure what's supposed to go in there. I've heard people say you can fit a Titan Master in there, but I've tried and you can't. Oh well. He does come with a number of accessories. So first up, we've got on both sides of these little gray things which come packed separately. These don't do anything aside from just plug into his shoulders there. So whatever. And then he also does come with the Covenant of Primus. I'm not sure which way is supposed to be the front. I think it's this one. But anyway, yeah, it does open, and right inside you've got a nice silver image of Cybertron with some tape recorder detailing. Oh, okay. And then it does have a page you can flip, and then you've got some silver Cybertronian text and Alpha Trion's logo. I did figure out what this says. This does say till all are one, so that's kind of cool. And then this flips again, and then you got the back there. So this can peg on top like that, which is weird, or on the sides like that, which is also very weird. But if you want a nice inconspicuous storage, he does have a little tab here and a little slot on either side. I myself prefer slotting into this slot here, just so it hides that tab, so you can just slot that right in there, like so. And now you have some really nice, elegant storage. You don't see it unless it's upside down, but the Transformers aren't displayed upside down anyway. And then it comes with this quill, which also is very nice. It does have some very good detailing on it. It's very cool. So this can plug underneath the wings. You've got tab there, a little notch on either side. Yeah, you're supposed to tab it onto this notch if you're gonna do it on this wing, and then like that on that wing. And anyway, you just tab it right in there, like so. And then that will just sit right in that divot there. And then you've got your storage for those accessories. Now we'll take a quick size comparison here with Prima, so you can see how Alpha Trion looks next to his big brother. And then also sorry, I brain fart. Okay, so now before we get into his last accessory, which we'll take a look at in robot mode, I'm sure most of you already know what it is. But anyway, last two accessories, sorry, we're gonna transform him. So first what we're gonna wanna do is come here and just untab these wings. There is a notch there, that lines up there, that lines up with that. So you just take those and collapse it forward, and that will just kind of rest there. Take this side, and then they will just snap together like so. There we go. And then I'm gonna take these sections and untab them. So they're just tabbed right in to there, and then that notch went into that slot there. So you just untab those on both sides and just bring them straight out like so, and then rotate them up like this. So now you've got it looking like that. And then I'll come here and take this section. This will all just lift up, please, here. So I'll just lift up like that. See, this bar just went into these two notches there. And then you want to take these gray sections and they'll just slide right in like that. Pull the legs apart, rotate them forward like so, fold up the toe, fold out the heel spur like so and like so, and then those are his legs done. And then take this whole upper body section, rotate it around, take his hands, fold them out, and then rotate them down, making sure that that shoulder panel stays up. Again, just fold out the hand, rotate down at the shoulder, making sure that stays up. Oh my, that came unpicked. Okay, we're good. And then you want to come around here and take this cockpit section, open it up, take this blue piece, fold it down and through, and it'll just sit right there. Close up the cockpit, bring this down, rotate these side panels forward like so, and then they will just snap right into place there, and they'll just kind of sit there. Come around to the front, take his head, sit it up, and there you have Alpha Trion in his robot mode, where he does not disappoint. He looks very cool. He looks a lot like his Generation 1 cartoon appearance, and yeah, he's just very cool. So yeah, there's his face sculpt. Ah, there's the last little bit of QC right there on his mustache. Some silver paint splashed there on his mustache. Yeah, and then we've kind of seen some of his arm detailing before. He has some really nice hands. His hands are really cool. And then you have some detailing. It's just kind of neat. That piece is a little bit different shade of red than around it, so it sticks out. It looks a little weird. Yeah, you got some nice blue heel spurs. I suppose this is supposed to be like his cape, or it actually looks really pretty cool. Articulation wise, his head rotates all the way around, can look down, can look up. One thing I don't like about this figure is his neck. I don't like how his neck is, it's weird. Shoulders rotate around, they go out. A swivel at the bicep, elbow bend, a little bit over 90. His wrists unfortunately do not rotate, so if you like your Voyagers with wrist rotation, don't buy this guy. Which, that doesn't bug me. Like, the no wrist swivel doesn't bug me, but it can go in and out. His fingers open. He does actually have an ab crunch. So that's pretty cool. First Transformer in my collection to have an ab crunch. His legs, if you get this out of the way, they'll kick forward there. And then for kicking back, you just kind of have to get his cape out of the way. About there. I'm sure if you take this off, then that will come out all the way. Then he has a thigh swivel, knee bend, ankle tilt, and his toes pivot down a little bit. And then, so for his final accessory, it's this thing, it's this panel, which is a shield. So this, to get it into shield mode, you just extend it out, bring these around like that, and then fight with it a little bit. Fold that peg down, come here to his arm, and just peg that in, like so. Now he has a shield. The Covenant of Primus can store on him, or he can hold him and store on him. So he just plugs on his hand. That's not the storage, but it can plug onto his hand. His feather can also plug into his hand, like so. Come on. It's kind of a tight fit. Alright, so does that. And then, just plug his cape back on here real quick. Ah! Alpha! Get back here. So yeah, that just plugs right into here. Like so. And then take his accessories, and for their storage, they just plug, at least this one plugs right back on where it did in alternate mode. Like that. And then the Covenant of Primus just sticks right on his back like that. So you got some storage there. His last accessory is this Autobot symbol, which can be a bit of a pain to pop out. Come on. There we go. Just plugs right in there. It's a tiny little Autobot logo, which, he can hold in his hand. Let's see if I can figure this out here. I've only done this once, and that was when I first got this guy a couple days ago. So, even if that was sort of an accident, I don't remember how I got it in there. It goes onto his hand, and then it can also plug onto his forearm. you know, or anywhere else that you've got a plug on there. But I just like keeping it in here. Keeps it from having a gaping hole in his belly. All right, now we'll do some quick size comparisons before wrapping this video up. All right, here we have him next to his big brother Prima. So you can see how that works out as far as scale wise. I was actually really quite surprised with Alpha Trion. I wasn't, you know, I got Prima, and I thought he's a pretty decent figure, although a little bit more on the mid side of figures as far as they go. You know, not the best. He's kind of hollow and light, whatever. Not a ton of paint on him. But when I got Alpha Trion, I was amazed just how dense he is and how much paint he has. And they're both really great figures, but I was really surprised with Alpha Trion. He's actually the one prime I wasn't super excited about, but mostly just because I knew it could be done. I mean, I still wanted to get him, but I wasn't super excited because I know Alpha Trion could be done, and I was blown away by this figure. This guy's awesome. So yeah, thank you for watching, and you know, please like if you liked this video. Comment what you thought on it. I could always use some feedback to make my videos a little bit less boring, more entertaining. Yeah, and subscribe if you haven't done that already. Remember, Jesus loves you, and I will see you next time.